the City game. I'm just gonna give you my honest opinions on this game. In fact, in general, I just want to say that I always knew deep down we'll bottom the league, because when it comes to the business end of the season, we just couldn't do it. And this is the thing that I said to everyone, right? We needed that buffer. Now, okay, look, it's completely done, because there's no way City are going to drop points. No, I don't care what anyone thinks. There's no way they're going to drop points. If they do, they might get a draw, and that is about it. There's no way we can recover the deficit of a 2-point difference and 2 games. Nah, no chance. It's done now. Congratulations, City. They're just too good. Let's be honest. This is why when I went into those games, I said, look, the game, well, it started truly from week 21. Okay. And we were basically 5 points clear with the game in hand. And then we lost. This is the thing. I was at that game. You saw the City, the one that I talked about when we played City, right? When we lost to Everton, that was a mess up. We should not have lost to Everton there. That's a not relegation. I'm not going to say a pure relegation team, but let's be completely real here. Like they are basically, at that time, they were like, okay, they were considering they're at the bottom. People thought they're going to recover. So I'm not going to say they're like fighting for tooth and nail for relegation, but they were definitely at the bottom. Okay, that was issue number 1. Then we go into week 23, and then this is when we messed up because we lost to City. So we dropped points there, and we're lucky we had that game in hand. Now we're just going to fast forward here to week 26, right? We won all our games, right? And honestly, I was thinking now, you know what? We're not in the driver's seat, but realistically, it's up to us. City drew that game against Forest, and that was it, basically. We had that buffer. This is the thing. We always needed that buffer. Then when we go to week 27, it increases. We then have a 5 game. And this is where everything went downhill, okay? We have everything in our power now. We have basically an 8-point buffer. Yes, you can argue they had that game in hand, but we were still in the, I would say, the predominantly the driver's seat, right? And then what happened here was when I think everything just messed up. We go to week number 30, the business end of the season. Liverpool. Now I'm going to be honest, I have that video on my channel, that Liverpool game. When we drew against Liverpool, so I knew that we kind of got let off, but you can go on to my thoughts and my opinions on that. But I knew realistically when we played Liverpool, that is when we bottled it, because we were 2-0 ahead. You know, when we were winning at 2-0, I honestly thought for the first time this whole year that we've got the league. Honestly, the way I looked at it was when we were 2-0 up, I remember Martinelli scored that goal. I looked at Arteta celebrating, and I said to myself, I even put it on my story. I was like, we got one hand on the cup. Because I knew if we beat Liverpool, that was a tough, because the only real tough fixtures that we had, and this is what I think what angered me, right? The only tough fixtures that we had, Sporting, okay, we lost. Let's not even talk about Sporting now, because now it looks like we've done it in vain now for no reason. Liverpool was the hardest fixture. Yes, they're not on form this year, but against the big teams, the Man Cities, they always turn up. That was a big game. The rest were all winnable, right? Newcastle was the next big game, and then Chelsea was a 50-50. That is why I wanted a 3, 6, 9-point buffer, okay? Best case scenario, a 6-point buffer, so we can mess around with these 2 games as long as we didn't mess up the City game. So ideally, I wanted 9. That was when we were winning 2-0 and we would have been at 75, then I think we would have been fine, because we would have had that 8-point buffer. Yes, they would have had that game in hand, but that's when it would have been okay. But then it's just gone downhill. At 31. I cannot believe we still drew to West Ham. I don't even know if I even uploaded that video. I just cannot even believe that we drew to West Ham. And then we go to Southampton. I left the game early. I left at 80 minutes, I'll be honest. I didn't have faith in us. Everyone's like, yeah, we're going to come back. I didn't have faith in us. I just couldn't take it. Mentally, I just couldn't take it. I couldn't visually see us going in. But here, look, played 2 games extra. And then we drew against Southampton. 3 points out of 9 games. That is where we lost the season. Like before we lost it early on, I think there's a couple of areas, when we lost to Everton initially early on, and then we drew to Brentford. Yeah, we got unlucky in the Brentford game, whatever. Then we lost to City. This was a big part in the title race that I think that really would have put us much more ahead. But then obviously we got killed over there. So now we go into this game. We're going from a situation where we didn't even need to win at City. Even if I go to like a third, like it's not ideal, right? At this point, it was done. That's why I said the league is bottled. The only way we could recover this is if we beat City. Okay, so they were at this point 2 games ahead, but we're 5 points clear. My head, I always look at it the way I do it. Say is my head. If any team is 2 points, 2 games to hand, you consider it a win. That's the way I do it. So I say 76 points there. Goal difference, we're too far away. We had to basically not lose. If we got a draw, then maybe, for example, with the remaining 6 games or 5 games City would have had, maybe they get a draw at that stage. Maybe out of one of those games with Real Madrid, maybe they just get a bit unlucky, the resting players, and maybe we could pick up points there. And what do? We end up getting completely annihilated. Now, this is what I think upset me the most, is that I saw this kind of thing on Twitter, right? It was like this whole campaign thing that we were ahead basically for most of the season. Someone uploaded, I can't remember who did it. Someone uploaded it, but I saw this and I'm thinking, nah, there's no way, man. Like, because I look at this 07-08 season, Eduardo Silva got injured, then we drew to Villa. It was the exact same thing. Then City, then Man United grasped the points at the end because Chelsea drew their game, but they lost on goal difference anyway. 02-03, I'm not going to act like I even remember that too well. But 13-14, when Cazorla was there, Ramsey was having his season of the year. We should have won in that year as well. Chelsea won in the end. People said it was Liverpool's season, but no, I think it was ours. But 93%. It's just, and this is what is true. When you go this far, it's just failing. Like, this is where things get even worse, okay? This is why I think I was angry, okay? So angry. It's because this guy, he's not good enough for Arsenal. He cannot play. Now, this is the thing, okay? The problem is here, we're just going to put Tomiyasu here. If he was playing, maybe he would have done this. The problem is Tomiyasu, I sit, by the way, over here. Okay, that's where my season ticket seat is. So I always see as a home, Tomiyasu is so bad at overlapping. Ben White is just so good at attacking. You can't lose that attacking threat. Whoever said play Kirill, I think that's how you say his name, has absolutely no idea what they're talking about. You cannot play someone like that who's got literally no experience. Obviously, Holding will go in. But without Saliba, I don't know what the stats, I can't remember the exact stats, but the amount of balls that get reduced going from this hand side of the channel all the way to Ben White and to Saka is ridiculous. So we lose that attacking threat. So this is the problem with losing Saliba. So we got unlucky, Saliba got injured. But this is the thing, okay? Why not try something else? Why couldn't you do, for example, Tierney? And okay, this is the thing. Tierney cannot play. In theory, this is what I like to do, but Tierney cannot play as a right back. In theory, distribution's poor, but what I've maybe done is something like this. Flipped it. Just switched it up. And then if they wanted, they could have even switched to midfield, because these three, they interchange. They could have done it just like that, the exact same system, except for it's interchanged. The exact same system. And that way, they could have even swapped it like this if they really, really want. Not that as well, I suppose, the distribution angle, but they could have something like that. I mean, that would have been perfect. And maybe Zinchenko, if you wanted to invert, you could invert, but at least try something different, okay? The way I look at it now is by putting Holding in, we didn't try anything different, and we just wanted to go to toe-to-toe with Man City. Toe-to-toe with Man City? Is this a joke? How can you go toe-to-toe with Man City? All over the pitch, Man City got better players than us everywhere. Maybe you could argue, maybe Saka, maybe Martinelli is better than... I think he's our best player all year. I think he's been... Because Zinchenko's been inverting. He's been by himself up against 2 players the entire season. Everyone said, drop him. What? I remember people talking about dropping Martinelli. I don't know what they've been watching. They're clearly not been watching Arsenal, because this guy had the... Or they don't know what they're talking about, but this guy was doing a 1v2 all the time solo, whereas Ben White was always overlapping Saka, and Saka always had that help. So I'll be honest, Martinelli for me is the player of our season. That's the way I look at it. But Ben White was very good. And this thing, he's just not good enough. You saw how he tried to press up against Haaland. He got wrecked. How could we go there and play them at their own game? I look at back at that game in the Emirates, right? I look back at that game in Emirates, and I was there in the Emirates. I was there. I look back and I was there, and I say to myself, when we played this game, it was just a game of mistakes. And to be honest, we've had BS referees, for example, though. The entirety of this year, we've had BS referees. Realistically, should have been like 6-0. I'm not even joking. Haaland didn't score his goals. The first goal, look, Holding, you cannot push up like this. Like, you can't, if you're going to take man for man, you can't push up that far. And he's just so bad at recovering. Honestly, he can't win his battles in the air. He needs to go. I'm sorry. Like, you have to be ruthless. You just cannot keep someone like this in your team. Like, now, last year we bottled top 4. That's why I never had faith in Arsenal. Because I knew when the business end of the season came, we always crumble. Yes, we had a little bit of injuries last year and it cost us, but we did the same thing. Now, look, next year we have to get rid of Holding. He's not good enough for us. We need someone that can contest. He's just terrible. He's not good enough at all. And let's be honest, yeah, Partey, this guy, what is he doing? 2 goals his fault. And honestly, I'll be honest, when the ball was over there and he actually kicked out first and actually hit De Bruyne, that was a penalty. Stonewall penalty, that was. We got let off. The referee saved us. I won't even lie. The referee at least tried to save us, but it was unrecoverable. And this is the thing. They're just too good. Like, this financial fair play system is done now because they've got their books always going to be balanced. They basically set everything up. We cannot ever compete with them. But this is the best chance we'll ever have. You know, Newcastle next year are going to be better. We drew to them at home. There was no way we were going to beat them away. So we lost that buffer. We needed that 6-point buffer. If we drew to City and we had 3 points clear, I would have said we got the league. But the way it happened, nah. Maybe I can't remember whose streamer I was in, but someone was saying hope is kind of the worst thing to have. It's true. Maybe it's better just cleared off now, get rid of the stress, because there's no chance. But look, United played very well. At one point, I think week 26, they were 5 points behind or something. Or I don't know, can't remember exactly where it was, but they were not too far behind us. I think must have been week 28 then by the time they recouped their points. Or maybe not. I can't remember when exactly it was, but they weren't too far away at one point. I don't know when it was. Maybe it's week 24 actually. Yeah, week 24 actually. They weren't too far away from us. You know, if they had better form and a better cohesion, better team, you know, it could have been a different situation. Tottenham, let's not even talk about them. Newcastle, they're going to be powerful this year. They got Villa. Chelsea are going to go back, and then you got Villa as well. Honestly, like, it's our best chance we've had it, and we've lost it. So what have I got to say to it at the end of the day? Is that we came so far, but in the end, it doesn't really matter. Second place, look, is failure in my eyes, because you can't be ahead for. You know, if we had 50%, fine, 93%, and that is it. I mean, it's my first season ticket holder. There's a season to remember, no doubt. There's also a season to forget. You know, I look at Newcastle. They just drew a lot of their games. If they won their games, it could have been a different situation. Newcastle are going to be deadly next year. And this is what I'm saying. It's all over. It's done now. I think we have to just be behind the boys, rally them up and be like, look, you had a very good season. You did the best that you could. And we got to go again. We got to get rid of these guys. These guys, they need to go. We need a replacement for Xhaka. Can I say that whoever you wanna put, Declan Rice there, Partey, I think you need someone like that. We need another winger in my opinion, someone like Zaha. I would say Zaha here. I would say for here you need Declan Rice. We're not going to spend this kind of money, but I'm just saying. Then however he wants to play a system, is he going to change the system up? And then we need some sort of centre back here. If hopefully Tierney doesn't go, if Tierney stays, change it up maybe. But Tierney can play. I think he's fine. Don't know why everyone keeps hating on him. Ramsdale, he basically saved us. It would have been 6-0. Yeah, he made one mistake against Liverpool, and he made one mistake against Southampton. Don't get me wrong, but he carried his rest. It's like Leno, that season when without Leno, we would have been even worse. I don't know. If we can get one more winger, someone like Zaha, then these guys get interchanged. Then at least we have 2 players contesting. We've got Martinelli and Trossard. And then we get a replacement for Xhaka because he's getting old now. He's coming towards the end. Declan Rice or Partey and a centre back. If we can get those 4 positions, so realistically a replacement, Declan Rice, back up, or another, I think we're in a good situation. But yeah, I don't know what to say. Dejected. Thrown it away, I would say. But yeah, that's my opinion, my thoughts. Yeah, thanks for watching.